Hey everyone, it's Bert coming at you today from the OC again. I can't let this day go by without discussing a few things. Today's January 21st, 2019, MLK Day. And I was looking on television for something because I wanted to really get entrenched in this thing today. And I was looking for shows about MLK and maybe a documentary or TV show, a movie or something. And I'm searching through. I found several movies that used the N word but had nothing to do with MLK. I found several movies that were almost glorifying villains, if you will, and people who did terrible things, but nothing to do with MLK. And I found movies about things that I thought, really? Seriously? And I finally found a couple of shows, a documentary on HBO, then the movie King about MLK. I just thought, with everything that's going on in our society, and hey, time out. This is not a political rant. Promise you, guaranteed. There's no room for that right now. It's not about that. But with everything that's going on in our world and our society, one, even more so, we really need to become one nation, one world, and really embrace each other and embrace differences. As I look back in my life, I grew up in rural Arkansas, and born in the '60s, and but childhood in the '70s and even into the '80s. You thought, dude, by the time you got to the '80s, there shouldn't be any, racial challenges there. Au contraire. And I remember elementary school, for example. I was in the '70s, late '70s, mind you, and I was sitting on the bus. I got on the bus. One of my best friends was in the front row of the school bus, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna sit with my buddy." I sat down, boop, right there in the front seat. Every black person that got on the bus was like, "You gotta move. You gotta move." I'm like, "Why? Why do I have to move? I want to sit here. My buddy's sitting here." Because the bus driver's gonna make you go in the back. Guess what? Bus driver didn't make me go in the back. And after that, black people could sit wherever they wanted. Then later on in life, I recall being at lunch, with some buddies, and they were all white. And one of the guys said, "Bert, there are N words, and I won't use that word. There's N words and there's colored. You're colored." Oh, okay. And then there's another time a guy said, "Hey, Bert, you're one of the good ones." And they both said this with complete sincerity and with complete, respect as much as you could from me. And I thought about it. I could have reacted in a way that would have totally made them say, "Nope, nope, nope, I was wrong. You are one of those." But you have to understand where things come from. This is what this kid had been taught his entire life. So I blame him, but I don't. I blame a culture of mindset. And we are guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of teaching each other, teaching our kids, I should say, how things should be. That whole adult perfection thing, right? And so as we look at our lives, let's be mindful of what we're teaching our kids. Are we teaching them the right things? Are we teaching them the things that's going to make them productive in life? Are we teaching them the things that really are going to be helpful to them, to help them achieve their destiny, to help them maintain their focus? As I got older, and again in the '80s, you'd think things would have evolved and changed, and they did, I guess, to an extent. But I recall, when I was in Boy Scouts. I wanted to join the Boy Scout troop where a lot of my friends were in, and one of my buddies said, "Hey, there's no coloreds in there, and there's not ever been, so I don't know that they're ever going to let one in." I got in. And I was at Boy Scout camp, and at Boy Scout camp, mind you, I was walking back to my camp, and a troop from another city started yelling all type of racial slurs and all these things, and I kept going on, and I just acknowledged, and they're like, "Oh, you're one of the nice ones." And when one finally said, "Hey, let's leave him alone. That's not right." So there's hope. There was another instance where I was in a medical explorer troop, and again, They said there had been one black guy who was in there, but he never came to the meeting, so they weren't going to let any more in. I got in. I went to all the meetings, but I did notice that there were white kids who didn't show to the meetings like ever, but they didn't stop any white people from coming in. Now, I'm not saying this to point out, good versus bad or right and wrong. I'm pointing it out to say I never stopped. Going back to that whole focus, don't quit, and if it is to be, it's up to me. You cannot let the ignorance of others become your own. You cannot let what others perceive you as to be your reality just because it's their perception. You have to keep striving. You have to maintain, be the better person. Be the person that you are destined to be. Because it's very easy to listen to all the naysayers, to listen to all the junk, all the BS that's out there, and make it your own and let it derail you. But you can't. You have to keep fighting, you have to overcome, and you have to really rise above. So, let's leave you with this. First, we all need to become one nation, one world. We all need to love each other. Love over hate always wins. But more importantly, when it comes to your own individual, always do what's best for you, what's right for you, and always strive to achieve the things no matter what people call you, no matter what people say you are, no matter what people paint you out to be. If you know your reality, if you know who you truly are, and you know your abilities and your capabilities, nothing can stop you, nothing can get in your way, and don't ever let it. So with that, everyone take care. Love, love, love.